and welcome to this episode of IPcast, a podcast on IP-related matters by Starks, a niche law firm specializing in intellectual property law and international trade law. My name is Maria Bajtsova-Venans, and I'll be your host today. One of our clients recently came to us with an idea of a unique shopping experience. It was something non-existent on the Belgian market at the moment, unique both in terms of goods offered and the services that went with it, and even the shop layout itself. Of course, for all of the elements, we ensured that proper protection mechanisms are put in place, trademarks and designs duly registered, agreements with partners and subcontractors carefully drafted, trade secret policy established, etc. Yet, our client also had another idea, related to the same business venture. He wanted in the future to have a quality mark, something to be used as a sort of a certification for other companies that would want to offer their customers alike experiences. Hence, he was wondering about the certification mark. Well, in his case, trademark licensing was in fact much more in line with his business goals than having a certification mark. However, the latter is an interesting intellectual property protection mechanism. So, what are the certification marks? Who can apply for them? Use them? What are the other peculiarities to take into account? Let me give you a brief overview. The main purpose of certification marks is to guarantee that the specific characteristics of goods and services are present, and to distinguish these goods and services from those not bearing the certification mark. Such characteristics could be, for example, particular mode of manufacture, certain quality standard, accuracy, particular materials used, and some others. The law does not really contain an exhaustive list of what can be such characteristic, only stating that geographical origin cannot be among them. To ensure that the above purpose of the certification mark is fulfilled, the applicant needs to have clear and objective regulations of use, which would define the standard that the goods and services must comply with in order to be able to use this certification mark. In particular, the regulations of use need to clearly identify, first, the characteristics of the goods and services to be certified, second, the conditions governing the use of the certification mark, as well as, third, the supervision and testing measures planned to be used by the owner of the certification mark. There are two important points to stress in connection with the European Union certification mark. First of all, the characteristic which cannot be certified is, like I already mentioned, geographical origin. Geographical origin of the goods and services in Europe is protected by sui generis geographical indications regime, and this cannot be protected by certification marks. Second, the applicant for the certification mark cannot be delivering goods or providing services that are meant to be certified with this mark. Hence, there is an obligatory requirement of neutrality, so not having any economic or business interest on the relevant market. The only exception here would be the possibility for the owner of the certification mark to provide training on the certification scheme to its users. An explicit declaration of the applicant that it does not carry on a business involving the supply of the goods or services of the kind certified is also to be submitted together with the application for the certification mark. So this is very important. Failure to do so, or the established lack of that neutrality, will be the ground for refusal of registration of the certification mark. Other possible grounds for refusal could be the lack or incompleteness of the regulations of use, the non-conformity of the certification mark to mark's essential function, already mentioned reference to the geographical origin, or the misleading character or significance of the mark. There are not that many certification marks registered in Europe at the moment. Currently, the EU trademark database shows less than 300 hits. At the same time, many examples of them are already very well known to European consumers. TUV, Manuka Honey, Fairtrade, MSC.org, Trusted Shops Guarantee, verified by safeshops.be, and many others. All of these certification marks surely do what they were intended to do. They signal to consumers certain quality they can expect from the goods and services bearing these marks. Is your company on a mission to develop a quality standard for the market? Then perhaps certification mark could at least be considered. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to know more about certification marks or other kinds of marks like individual or collective, or other types of marks like shape, color, multimedia that are possible to be registered, feel free to drop us an email at info@starks.be. And in the meantime, have a great morning, day, or evening, depending on your time zone. My name is Maria Baitsova-Venans, and see you next time at IPcast, a podcast on IP-related matters by Starks. Starks, your sustainable growth.